Hello, this video has been made to keep you up to date with the progress of a fully automated RECIST data review and monitoring tool. This is presented now especially given the data cleaning features are now developed. The fully developed tool is due for release later this year. So having worked in clinical trials for a number of years, we have seen repeated difficulty in reviewing RECIST data. So, for this reason, we recognise the need for the development of a tool that can be run across any data source, whatever the EDC application, or indeed even for studies that are conducted with paper CRFs. Such a tool must also eliminate the need for double data review. So this video is a sneak preview of some of the data cleaning elements. There will be more thorough and robust video material over the coming months and prior to this tool's commercial release later this year. So what is RECIST360? It is a tool that harnesses the often underestimated power of Microsoft Excel. This negates the need to download new software if you already have Microsoft Office installed. Indeed, by using a program that is independent of clinical databases or capture systems, the program can then be run on any data source once a small quantity of lesion and response data has been extracted from your database. That's the power of this tool. There are several features in this tool, but for simplicity today, we will see how the tool can be used to clean the RECIST data. The special ribbon contains elements to navigate to the cleaning area, as does the dashboard displayed on screen. So let's see how we can navigate to a patient with data quality issues using a dashboard. One avenue is to click on the site cleaning chart. Note that all graphics are interactive, and this chart itself can even be clipped and pasted into other applications. Let's clip the graphic to our clipboard. Visualizations also include information about how they were calculated and also come with links to online support. Let us now navigate to a patient with data quality issues. We start by choosing the site from the graphic. We now have two options. One is to export a flat list into a standalone Excel file, which may be useful for study team review. Another option is to be taken to the patient cleaning interface. Displayed now is the patient filter module. It is already pre-filtered on the selection made from the interactive chart to include the selected site in addition to patients with open issues at this site. There are two such patients with open issues, so let's select one. By doing so, all other attributes associated with this patient have just updated. So as you can see, the patient filter itself is a useful tool should data review require a focus such as, for example, an interim analysis based on a specific treatment arm. Now let's display this patient in the cleaning module. Let's now take a look at what's available. In the top left of the display, we have patient summary information. Further below, we have keys explaining what the icons mean. These include the study periods for the patient timeline, in addition to understanding the origin of displayed data, whether this is CRF in origin or derived by the program. Lesion information is displayed using respective CRF identification codes. However, using the lesion display toggle switch, we can understand both the lesion location in addition to the scan methods used. There is, quite naturally, a lot of information displayed to the end user. This information is required for the program to identify data discrepancies, but it doesn't mean the end user has to see all of it. We will see how to do this shortly. The patient timeline includes a graphical visualization of target lesion size throughout the patient's journey on the study. Let's scroll through this dummy patient's timeline. Notice above the graph are various disposition events. These are not essential to assist with calculations, but it can provide useful context. Now take note of the partial response line. This aids, visually, in determining at which point a patient reaches a partial response. Below the graph, we include tables of supporting CRF and derived information throughout the timeline. As we continue to scroll through this patient's timeline, we can now see they've not only had a partial response, but have experienced a new nadir. As such, we now have a new progressive disease line, which floats at the appropriate position within a timeline. Now, should the patient continue to experience a new nadir upon a refresh of study data, the PD line will reposition accordingly. This makes it visually very easy to establish when or if a patient experiences progressive disease without having to trawl through heavy data listings. As mentioned, we can adjust the quantity of information on the view. You might wish to do this when you gain confidence in the tool. For example, you may wish to view only the program findings and your own user notes. The power of this tool is not only in bringing complex data concepts into an interactive visual, but also the fact the program scans the data for discrepancies. Of course, EDC edit checks and manual data review aim at finding data issues, but this tool finds them automatically and in accordance with published articles. Now let's look at some of the program findings. All findings come with guidance. Now, of course, it would be ideal for the responsible data manager to fully understand the RECIST rules, but the program does offer robust guidance. It is also possible to click the automatic finding text to your computer to clipboard. This can form the basis of an eventual query in the approved data management system. The end user can keep track of their actions and change the status of the finding. While some may argue this is duplication, it remains far more efficient, less error prone, and without undue duplication in the long term. Other types of findings may not be specifically tied to published articles, such as what is considered an acceptable period between lesion scans and eventual response assessments. This particular program finding is one such example where the program can be changed in the settings module based on what the study team feels is an acceptable period, so this is an interdisciplinary tool. Take note that this program finding and others like it play a critical role in establishing site performance trends. There will be further videos on this in due course. The end user can also add their own notes. This can be useful to keep track of discussions. Indeed, because these are saved by the program even after being refreshed with new data, the combination of findings and end user interactions can provide a very powerful permanent data issues log for interims and study logs. This is a massive time saver in the long term. Now let's close down all open issues for the two patients on this site. As we can now see, the dashboard is updated to reflect the work just done. The program will help avoid double data review. Let's take a look at how this works. Depending on how early in the study's life cycle the tool was adopted, it will require an extensive review of all the open findings on the first review cycle. However, on subsequent review cycles, only changed or new data results in program findings being rerun, with any new findings flagged to the end user. To recap, this eliminates unnecessary double data review just in case something changed for any given patient. This will result in quality data review and not quantity data review. Although the tool is still under development, it shows the potential of full lifecycle lesion data review and risk-based monitoring. Further multidisciplinary functionality is planned to be introduced over the coming months. The framework of this tool has been built around RECIST 1.1, but we do have plans to extend to other versions of RECIST. The first version is planned for release later in 2019, but we can already consider client collaboration in the interim. Thanks for watching.